How's it going, guys? So today I want to talk about War Machine because recent leaks suggest that he might be playable in the game, and I have opinions about that. And I also want to talk about some gameplay ideas for how he could function in the game.
Welcome to the initiative.
Alright, welcome to the initiative. So, like I said, I want to talk about War Machine. In recent leaks, it suggested that he could be a playable character in the game in the future, maybe as an expansion character. And I've seen a lot of people instantly dismiss this or call it out and be like, oh, he's just going to be an echo character of Iron Man. And while that is possible, I feel like War Machine is way more than an echo character, okay? He's not like a clone or anything. He has his own different abilities. Even in the movies, they managed to differentiate his fighting style from Iron Man. And on top of that, Rhodey is just a really cool character. I mean, for a good chunk of time in the books, Rhodey was actually Iron Man himself, but we'll get back to that later. For now, I just want to talk about like a couple cool gameplay ideas that I've come up with. I've already come up with two. For example, I think one of his heroic abilities should be that he activates kind of like a rage mode, kind of like Hulk and Thor have modes that make them more powerful and give them little boosts in combat, right? And I think War Machine should have a rage mode kind of ability where it activates the gun that he has on his back. That's one of the iconic parts of the War Machine design, is that Rhodey has this gun that's strapped to like the back of his armor. And I think if you had a support ability or a heroic ability that activates that gun, and then that way while you're doing melee combos or flying around or whatever, the gun is constantly firing at the surrounding enemies like while you move around the map. I think that'd be great because I really love War Machine, and one thing that I really love about him is that when he's fighting, it always looks like he's fighting and shooting at multiple targets at once, you know, like the gun on his back is firing over there while he's aiming at this guy or stuff like that, right? And I think having an ability that makes that possible would be awesome. And on top of that, it would make you feel a lot more like War Machine and a lot less like Iron Man. The next ability I think that will go a long way to making War Machine feel more like War Machine and not like Iron Man is having different modes to choose from. You know how Iron Man can choose from repulsors and missiles and lasers? Well, obviously Rhodey should have a repulsor mode because of every person in an Iron Man armor should have a repulsor mode. But I think instead of having a laser mode like Iron Man, I think it's very important that Rhodey has a full auto firing mode, kind of like Black Widow, because War Machine is famous for firing super fast repeatedly, right? I mean, he should be able to do so on the ground, in the air, kind of like he does in these MCU clips right here. Like, the guy is just like a tank when it comes to that full auto fire, and I think War Machine definitely has to be able to do that. And that's another thing, alongside finding a way to use the gun on his back. I think these two things would go a very long way to differentiate Rhodey from Tony in terms of gameplay. And because of that, I don't vibe when people are like, oh my gosh, he's just an echo character. Like, no, man, War Machine is his own being. He's really cool. And if we're gonna treat War Machine like an expansion character, remember, all the expansion characters supposedly will have story missions and villains to go along with their inclusion so that they're added into the story like naturally and in a cool way, right? So if Rhodey was to get a story mission or a villain of his own to fight, I think it'd be really, really sick if we were able to fight either Fin Fang Foom or the Mandarin in the War Machine expansion, because, you know, War Machine, like I said, he has actually played the part of Iron Man in the past, and during the Dragon Seed saga, one of my favorite Iron Man comic sagas of all time, Rhodey actually acts as Iron Man for a large part of that story, and while he's doing so, he himself has to take on Fin Fang Foom and Mandarin. So he has experience fighting these people. They're not just Iron Man villains. And of course, Iron Man could still be a part of the story because, I mean, this is an Avengers game, so you could have War Machine and Iron Man team up against Fin Fang Foom and the Mandarin, and I think that'd be really sick. So overall, I think a War Machine expansion would actually be really cool. You know, it not only would add diversity to the game, but it would also just add a cool character with cool abilities and possibly even some really iconic Iron Man villains. So these are my thoughts. I just wanted to put them out there because I've seen a lot of people, like I said, dismiss it as, well, War Machine is just Iron Man skinned over or whatever. And I'm like, no, there could be so much more potential here. So I wanted to make this video in service of good old Rhodey. So I hope you guys like it. I hope you guys agree with anything I've been saying. What do you guys think think? Would you be excited for a War Machine expansion? Would you like to play as War Machine? Do you think my ideas for the full auto fire and the gun on his back, do you think those would be cool in the game? Because I definitely think so. Anyway, hope you have an awesome day. Thanks for watching. Bye.